हाय गाइस एंड वेलकम टू MB's मैन केव। आज से पहले हम लोग और वीडियोस में बात कर चुके हैं विस्की एंड फूड पेयरिंग की, कौन सी विस्की को कौन से फूड के साथ पेयर करना चाहिए। और आज की वीडियो में हम बात करेंगे विस्की एंड चॉकलेट की पेयरिंग के बारे में। घबराओ मत, हम यहाँ पर हर्शीज और डेयरी मिल्क चॉकलेट को विस्की के साथ नहीं पेयर करने वाले। वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट द एडवांस स्टफ, द रियल चॉकलेट एंड विस्की पेयरिंग, और कैसे सही चॉकलेट को सही विस्की के साथ पेयर करना चाहिए। बट ऑनेस्टली आई एम नॉट रियली एन एक्सपर्ट ऑन दिस सब्जेक्ट, तो इसीलिए मैं अपने साथ आज इस वीडियो में लेकर आया हूँ अपनी फ्रेंड शे को। शे इज़ करंटली इन द USA एंड शी नोज क्वाइट अ बिट अबाउट चॉकलेट एंड विस्की। शी इज़ एन एक्सपर्ट ऑन दैट टॉपिक, आई विल से। और आज हमें गाइड करेंगी कि कैसे चॉकलेट और विस्की को पेयर करना चाहिए। हाय शे, हाउ आर यू?
Hi, how are you, Manish?
I'm absolutely good, and I'm really looking forward to trying out some whiskey. I know it's about 10:30 at my time, where I am today right now. I guess
It's 11 a.m.
So how excited are you to try?
I'm very excited to talk whiskey and chocolate, two of my favorite things in the world. I'm super passionate about whiskey and chocolate together.
So the idea of pairing Lind chocolate and dairy milk with whiskey doesn't really sound very appealing to me, because usually these chocolates are too sweet. So why do you think that it's a good idea to pair chocolates and whiskey?
That's a great question. That is a very good question. So you said you do like your dairy milk and your Lind bars, right? But here's the fun thing. If you just turn the package around and look at the back of the bar, sugar would be your first ingredient, and then you have cacao, etc. things. So you really don't want to have a sugar influence paired with your whiskey, because you really want two beautiful flavors of chocolate and whiskey together and merge them, So here we are, we're going to talk about craft chocolate or 2-ingredient chocolate or bean to bar chocolate. What that means is, if you turn the chocolate bars around, that I know you have some, so you want to turn it around and you see it has only cacao and sugar as the main ingredients. So cacao in general has a beautiful flavor. Like for example, whiskey. How does whiskey come from, right? Barley sugar, barley yeast, and water, right? So in a chocolate, you want to taste you want to taste the flavors of cacao, and you want it to be not so bitter or not so astringent, or some people really want a little bit of sugar in it, some people don't. So your bar should be a couple of ingredients only, and that's what makes it a beautiful pairing. The beautiful flavors from the whiskey and the beautiful flavors from the cacao put together, and I like to call it a 1 + 1 = 3. That's the flavor that you want to develop in your mouth.
Right, so these are, we can say in a way that these are real chocolates, not candies that we normally eat. But uske baad, I think there is one question I have, that why are these chocolates not easily available in India then?
That is a great question again. So what has been happening in the past, and okay, so one thing I want to clarify before we get any more on this is, these chocolates are all made in India and they are using Indian cacao. What companies like Dairy Milk and Hershey's and Lind has done in the past is they've used really bad beans and they've tried to highlight or not highlight the flavor of cacao, just submerge it all and put sugar in it. So when you taste it, you get a lot of sugary taste, right? This is not what you're going to get in those. So once we start talking about the pairing, you'll see how different it is from a dairy milk bar.
So I know you have recommended some chocolate pairings which we will be trying in some time, but I think I just want to know, how should one go about pairing the right whiskey with the right chocolate?
Perfect. That's an awesome question. So I would say you start with your favorite whiskey and then you go with one bar, which is only it would rather be a single origin bar. What that means is it comes from one farm, like the chocolate bar we talked about. And I wouldn't do a milk chocolate to start off with. That will be a second level. And then you pick up a bar from India to start with, and then you try your favorite whiskey with it. And the way I would recommend having whiskey and chocolate is have the chocolate first, let it melt, have your mouth completely coated, like the same way you do whiskey, right? Have your mouth completely coated with the chocolate, then have a sip of whiskey and see how the flavors develop. Because you already have your favorite whiskey, right? You want to pair the flavors that you know with the flavors that you do not know from chocolate, and see how a different flavors develop. And this is what I say 1 + 1 = 3, because you're expecting a whole new flavor in your mouth.
All right. So should chocolate complement the flavor of the whiskey or should it contrast?
That's another very good question. So you want to do both. With most bourbons and Highland or Speyside single malts or Indian whiskeys or world whiskeys, the way I like to develop it is to have them complemented and bring out a different flavor. The only different one I really like doing is doing peated whiskeys with a sweeter chocolate. And with the peat and a sweeter chocolate, they really work together. The two contrasting flavors will work together and bring out another flavor. So that's my rule of thumb when I'm trying out whiskeys for the first time and, experimenting with chocolates and whiskeys. But as you develop, as you keep going down this journey, you want to try new things, and you never know what you like or what you do not like.
I think it's time for us to start the drinking and start the tasting.
Definitely.
What do you think?
Why not? Absolutely. Let's go for it.
Do you have some glasses ready with you?
I do.
Which one are we going to try first?
Let's do the Buffalo Trace because it's a bourbon. It's the mash bill is corn, and the other two they're single malts, right? So let's start with the Buffalo Trace, and with that, let's do let's do the chocolate. So we're gonna follow the same steps that we do in whiskey tasting. So we take the chocolate bar, get a little piece out, break it into two, take a small piece, like so, take a smaller piece, I would say.
Smaller than this?
Perfect. No, this is fine. So we want to bite it and, have your whole mouth get coated with this. And I don't recommend chewing. You want maybe a little chewing, and then don't just have it all together. You want to keep it in your mouth for a longer period of time.
Just a little melt in your mouth.
Exactly.
It's quite bitter. Something not something that you would expect from a usual chocolate. But at the same time, it's something which it's not very unappealing. Something which is not going to push you away, like a smoky whiskey. When you try a smoky whiskey for the first time, you might feel a bit overwhelmed. But I think it's something which you can get accustomed to.
Gotcha. So you want to let it melt in your mouth, and then you'll see a lot of flavors develop.
Bit of coffee. I'm getting a bit of coffee and some cane sugar. There's a bit of an earthiness, kind of a bit of a that wet mud that you get. Getting that kind of just aroma filled all over my mouth for you.
Mouth, right? I get some raisins as well,
Yeah, slightly, yeah. And then now
So
should
now-
we get to our
Yep. Sanjay,
raisins are already coming out now. And
right?
the sweetness. I remember when I tasted Buffalo Trace last time, it was a lot less sweeter. It's tasting a lot more sweeter now. I can feel a bit of raisins, a bit of jam maybe.
Yep, exactly.
Even though we think that this is going to be a complimentary tasting, but it's quite actually bringing out the flavors from the whiskey,
Right.
which I didn't think we could taste the first time. have to say that this was definitely quite interesting, because when I think of Buffalo Trace, it is, I would say, it's not really that complex. It's fairly complex, but wouldn't say that it's something which is, something which evolves a lot. But I'm pretty, surprised with just a piece of chocolate, what a piece of chocolate can do to a whiskey.
Right.
All right, I think we should try out the next one. I think I'm going to try all these chocolate bars with all my whiskeys.
Definitely.
Tonight.
And that's the fun about it, you want to try different chocolate bars with the same chocolate bar with multiple whiskeys, and you never know. It's like a playground. You don't know which one will you like, or which one you won't like.
All right, so what are we drinking now?
We're doing the Amrut.
Okay, so got some Amrut
and the Nagaluna. Kerala single origin. So the first one was, actually a quick history of chocolate I would like to give is, these are from Tamil Nadu. This is from Kerala, and it specifically says that it's from Kerala.
Yeah, it does say.
So we are expecting a completely different flavor. I will let you do it.
This is 72%, the other was 70%.
72%. Correct.
I can see that this is a lot more darker than the one that we had earlier. So I'm expecting it to be a bit more bitter, I guess. Let's see.
We'll see.
Okay, let's taste it.
So you might want to give it a smell too if you want, which is something I like, but go for it.
The cane sugar is so evident in this. It's almost like molasses. When I was a little kid, I used to go to my grandma's house, and she used to say that I'm so weak and so slim. So she used to give me jaggery with pure desi ghee.
Right.
Just eat it, like that. I'm getting the memory of that right now.
And that's what you want chocolate to take you to, right? Memories of flavor.
So it's just unrefined cane sugar and cacao, and I can taste all of it.
That's amazing.
But the cane sugar is a lot more evident in this.
Right? And we just saw it's a 72% chocolate compared to the other one, which means this is less cane sugar. But the way they made the chocolate, the sugar is a little bit more forward, but I also get a lot of fruity floral notes from the chocolate. So that's why I said go for it.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more sweeter. I was expecting it to be more bitter, and the color was darker as well. So you get that impression that it's going to be more stronger, but it's actually a lot more mellow. You get that fruitiness, as you said.
Agreed.
And quite tasty. I mean, I would not mind having just a bar by itself. But
I know, right?
All right, so let's try some whiskey. My mouth is still covered with the
Excellent.
So I have had Amrut a lot. It's one of my favorite whiskeys, and I have never gotten this kind of a husky flavor. Yeah, kind of a hay flavor.
Yep.
From this whiskey ever, and I'm getting it right now, which is
wow.
I don't know if it's.
I love it.
I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's just something which is different, which I have never experienced before with this whiskey.
That's amazing.
Almost like wet paper. Just the smell of that wet paper, something which you do like. Yeah, I mean, the smoke in the whiskey, the peatiness is still there. You taste it. And usually when you taste Amrut, it's the peat which does the talking most of the times. But
sure.
Right now I'm tasting, a lot more going on in the whiskey, a lot more settled notes, which I don't think I've experienced in the whiskeys before. I mean, I don't think the cane sugar is there anymore. I don't feel that.
Right.
I think the whiskey has just washed away that.
right?
but it has brought out some flavors from the whiskey which I don't think you would taste, if you just taste the whiskey as it is.
Totally agree. The peat kind of goes at the back of your mouth, right? Instead of the peat coming through from the Scottish barley. The way David, the chocolate maker behind this Navi Luna bar, processes their bars are so different. It's thinner than the chocolate bar, so it coats your mouth faster. And whatever whiskey you're pairing with it, it's easier to, make it more complex. Like you got these hay flavors and the peat kind of got subdued, right? So I think it's the way as well, not only the cacao, but also the magic the chocolate makers do with the bars. That's also something which prevails and, shows off.
That's really amazing. It's very similar to how a master blender makes their whiskeys.
Exactly.
And we always talk about the art of blending whiskeys and making the right blend each and every time. So I'm sure it's just as complex.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that we are talking about this. And I'm sure my viewers will also be quite excited to try out these pairings. We will leave the links for all these chocolates that we're trying in the video for you guys, so you can go and order it and try it for yourself. All right.
Excellent. This is the one that I'm most excited about, Manish.
Yeah, me too. I love Lafroig, and it's something which is one of my favorite whiskeys, and it's going to be very exciting to pair this, because when you think about Lafroig, you don't think about like flavors, or you don't think about the nuance. You think about the slap on your face smoke, and in fact, I'm also quite excited to try this chocolate, because this is coffee and pineapple, almost dark. And I love coffee, I love pineapple, I love whiskey, and I love chocolate now, apparently. So
awesome.
That sounds like a good pairing.
That's great to hear.
I do notice that this chocolate bar also has
pieces of pineapple?
Pieces of pineapple in it.
Yep. Unfortunately, I don't have the bar, but I remember tasting the bar. So what you'd want to do, Manish, is take a whole cube which has a bit of pineapple, which has that great amount of pineapple. Perfect. The reason we're pairing this with the Lafroig is because of what I mentioned earlier, is the fact that you want a little bit of sweetness to go with the smokier whiskeys like Lafroigs or Lagavulins. Well, Lagavulin is already very kind of sweeter, right? But with the Lafroig and the Ardbegs, you want something with like a little bit of honey flavor, or something which is sweeter, in this case, the pineapple. And then you want them to be complemented, and you want some kind of like a smoky Lafroig, charred pineapple thing in your mouth. I don't want to give it out to you right now, but I will let you taste it for yourself and tell me what you think.
Okay, let's give it a go.
Go for it.
It's a lot more crusty. That the texture of the chocolate is very different. You taste the coffee. You get the pineapple as well, of course. It's not overly sweet. It just gives you all the flavors without giving you too much. Getting that bit of a because of the texture, you get that cacao, that darkness of the chocolate a bit more. There's a bit of maybe a bit of prunes as well that I'm getting.
Oh wow!
In this chocolate. But yeah, I do like this chocolate as well. Pretty good. I think this one melted in my mouth a lot more quicker than the other two.
Okay.
Maybe because we're trying it the last. It's been out. But let's taste it now. Wow. Now, of course, when you drink Lafroig, you get all smoke. But what I like about Lafroig is that you get that sweet peat.
Yep.
And with the first sip, I did not get any sweet peat. It was just, just punch in your mouth peat. Just that, that strong smokiness that you got. Yeah, I think the sweetness, because I think this chocolate is slightly more sweeter as compared to the other two. I think that sweetness really countered that sweetness in Lafroig, whatever there is, and just getting that smokiness is a little bit more pronounced in this.
Gotcha. So this is one example where you're having two contradicting flavors come together and go boom in your mouth.
Yeah, I think the coffee is still there. I can still taste the coffee as I'm sipping the whiskey, but the pineapple is gone. The pineapple is completely gone. But I don't think that it's gone in a sense that of course I can't taste the pineapple, but the sweetness of the pineapple is still there because the whiskey is tasting less sweeter to me.
Okay.
And that's because of the sweetness of the pineapple trying to counter the sweetness of the whiskey.
Maybe you want to have like one more piece and don't let it go away completely, but while there are like little pieces of chocolate in your mouth, have some of the whiskey.
Just getting some charred pineapples now.
Exactly.
Just the crust of the grill, anything that you barbecue
exactly.
and you get that crust. I'm tasting
right?
that. But it's not overwhelming at all. I mean, it's something which the first sip that I took when I still had a bit of chocolate in my mouth, I could not feel any kind of smoke or anything, anything. I mean, I couldn't guess that it was Lafroig that I was tasting.
Lafroig.
Yeah.
That's
I think the first sip, I waited for a bit too long. The chocolate had melted away.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still want to have a little bit of chocolate in your mouth and then have a sip with most of the whiskeys. Some whiskeys you could do like once it's gone, then you sip the whiskey. But with the pairings that we're doing today, you definitely want to have some of the chocolate in your mouth and then have the whiskey, so that both come together and form a different flavor in your mouth.
That's pretty interesting, and that's.
And I'm sure if you have more of the same bar and keep sipping, you'll get more flavors coming out, like
more every time.
On your third sip, it's gonna be even more boom pineapple char in your mouth, and a little bit of coffee.
Just like a good whiskey, a good chocolate should also keep evolving. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the cool thing is they last for a very long time. Like Lafroig, this taste lasts for a very long time, right? The same flavors here too are gonna last for a very long time, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I can still taste it in my mouth, and again, it's quite fascinating that we have been talking for so long, and there's so much that we have uncovered, something which I have uncovered, and I'm sure my audience has also uncovered. And we're really looking forward to going down this path, exploring a bit more. And thankfully, we have you who can guide us and tell us
to be of help.
More about this world of chocolate and whiskey. If you are not following Shay, you can follow her on her Instagram. The link is in the description. And also, I would like to know what questions you guys have in your mind about this pairing. We'll try to answer the questions in comments soon. And we'll also try to answer your questions maybe on an Instagram live. What do you say, Shay? Maybe we can.
I am totally looking forward to doing an Instagram live with you, Manish.
Sure, where we can just carry on this topic, this conversation, and that will also give us an excuse to try out more whiskeys and chocolates.
More chocolates, yay!
Great, but thank you so much.
Uncovering new flavors. Thank you, Manish. Thanks a lot. This has been so much fun. I mean, I'm always so happy to have friends try out chocolates and have new flavors pop up in their mouths and just experience the whole world of craft chocolates and whiskeys together.
Well, I do have a lot of flavors going on in my mouth, and I don't think I'm going to sleep very early tonight. I have a lot of whiskeys to try out these chocolates. But thank you, Shay. Thank you
Definitely.
for being with us and guiding us uh, on this journey, and we're looking forward to seeing more of you.
The pleasure is all mine, Manish. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a great night.
सो आई होप आप लोगों को आज का हमारा वीडियो पसंद आया होगा. यू नाउ एटलीस्ट हैव सम अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑन हाउ टू पेयर योर चॉकलेट विद विस्की. अगर आप लोगों के मन में कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं अभी भी, देन यू कैन आस्क मी इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन. हम कोशिश करेंगे कि इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर करें. यू कैन ऑल्सो फॉलो शे ऑन आवर इंस्टाग्राम, द लिंक्स आर इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन. एंड हम जल्दी कोशिश करेंगे दैट वी डू अ फॉलो अप लाइव स्ट्रीम ऑन इंस्टाग्राम, सो you guys can join and ask your questions directly. So don't forget to follow both of us on Instagram as well. फिलहाल लाइक करिए वीडियो को, शेयर करिए अपने दोस्तों के साथ, चैनल पर सब्सक्राइब करिए. मिलते हैं जल्दी, तब तक के लिए cheers.